I'm 64 years old with $715,000 across all my investment accounts. I'm thinking of retiring within the next few years. What questions should I be asking a financial advisor? Get ready, Christa. We've got a lot for you here.
Yeah.
First of all, I would say, are you going to talk to me about something other than just investments? I think when we work through with our clients the ready-to-retire process, we find often the case is that if they have previously worked with a financial advisor, it's not too often that they have a written retirement plan on paper, on purpose. And if they do, they don't often bring it into the room. That's the first question. Are you a financial planner, or are you just going to talk to me about investments? And even if you don't ask that question, John, you're probably going to find that answer out in the first 5 minutes of the conversation.
You know, talking about investments when you're talking about retirement is a little bit like going car shopping and talking about the type of tires that are on the car. It really is. You need those tires, and you want to have good tires, absolutely. But that's not why you go buy a car. You look at the color, you look at the features, you look at the what it will do for you and all of that. The tires are an important component, but they are a relatively minor component compared to everything else that you take into consideration in buying a car. Mm-hmm. And to your point, Scott, I think that most people focus on investments because they can quantify in their mind, okay, this is what I'm investing in. They look at the rate of return because they obviously know positive is better than negative, and the higher the number, the better off I'm likely to be. Maybe and maybe not. What you really want to look at is the strategy, and so that strategy should be laid out in a written retirement income plan on paper, on purpose. The next question that you want to ask about that retirement income plan is, will my plan actually allow me to increase my income to keep up with the rising cost of living? We've all gotten a really good dose of what inflation does to your buying power over the last 2 or 3 years as we've dealt with the rising inflation since the COVID shutdown. But I would venture to say, Scott, most retirement income plans, if they're out there, do not take into account giving people raises in their income, just like they would expect raises at their work. You would never take a job if you were guaranteed to never get a raise. You wouldn't take that job. You would go look for a job so you could keep pace with the economy and inflation and all those things. Your retirement income plan should cover about as long, if you're lucky and live a long life, it should cover about as long as your working years. And so you shouldn't accept a retirement income plan that doesn't have an inflation factor as well.
Another thing I would say, Christa, that you really need to be discussing with a financial advisor is, are they going to talk to you about Social Security? Are they going to talk to you about health care and how to incorporate those expenses into your overall retirement income plan? A lot of times it's just about the investments, as we've already talked about, but you want somebody that's going to take the Social Security options you have and help you maximize your strategy on when to claim. And not only that, John, but incorporate that into the overall retirement income plan when you layer in the other sources of guaranteed income that you may have, the income coming from your investments, and also include the taxation on that so that you can see to the dollar amount what you're going to have in spendable monthly income when all sources are combined.
Scott, another thing I think is important for Christa to just understand and be sure that she's clear on what she's spending to get what she's getting. How is your advisor compensated? Mm-hmm. Look, I will tell you, there is no panacea here. There's no magic way that if they're compensated this way, it's good, and if they're compensated this way, it's bad. It really doesn't matter how that advisor is compensated. You need to understand what you're paying for, and you need to understand what you're getting out of what you're paying for. Those are the key things that you need to very clearly learn as you talk with a financial advisor. Some financial advisors can charge a lot of money and do very little for you. A lot of financial advisors can do a lot for you and not charge a whole lot at all. So you need to be sure that you understand what that looks like, what that balance is, and that you're comfortable with it.
You're talking about the difference between cost and value, right?
That's right.
I mean, that's
absolutely.
What we talked about Christmas shopping at the beginning of this show. That's what we do when we go get gifts for our loved ones, right? What's the quality we're buying? If we're going to pay more for this item over this item that really does some of the same things, what is this one potentially going to do for me that this one doesn't? Is it going to last longer? Has it got more features? And it's perfectly understandable that someone will pay more when they have that opportunity to create more value for themselves.
Absolutely. And before we leave this point, I think it's important. You are going into creating a retirement income plan. You have to ask the question, what is your experience, Mr. Financial Advisor or Ms. Financial Advisor? What is your experience at doing the things that I need you to do? Are you crafted and experienced at being able to put together a retirement income plan? Have you done that for a lot of clients? What's been the result of that? Are you successful at doing what you're doing? There's a lot of people out there with an investment license, Scott, that have the ability to buy investments. That does not necessarily mean that they know what they're doing when it comes to planning a long-term retirement income plan that adjusts for inflation, takes care of things like sequence of return risk, and also covers the longevity issues that are going to inevitably crop up with a lot of people's plans.
You mentioned the license. I would also ask them what licenses do they hold, because oftentimes the type of investments you're going to get pitched are based on what the advisor is licensed to sell if they don't have all of the licenses that it takes to do that.
That's a great point.
Well, this, Christa, is a great question. It highlights the need to work with an advisor that's going to build a retirement income plan for you. We're going to call this our question of the week, name it our question of the week. We'd love to send you a free Get Ready for the Future show tumbler for being the question of the week. Christa, we just need you to email us, show@getreadyforthefuture.com, to claim it. And thanks again for your question. If you have questions, you can get them to us by calling and leaving a voicemail or texting to this number, 501-381-5228, or send that email, show@getreadyforthefuture.com, anything that's on your mind about finances.